welcome to the West Coast Podcast. This is the Thanksgiving edition. With me is my guy Trey, like always. How are you doing, Trey?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Shane. Appreciate you for asking. We're coming at you guys two in a row. What do you know? We got Shane and Trey in the building coming at you back to back weeks on a Friday evening around the same time. Trying to get back into the groove of things after we took a little bit of a hiatus. Not last week, but the week before. But as we move forward, we're gonna probably move this podcast to every other Friday around this time, 10:30 p.m. Pacific time is probably what we're gonna shoot for. But because there's been a little bit of a null, a little bit of a void, we're bringing you guys back to back podcasts this time on the West Coast Podcast. But yeah, man, it's been about a week, and I don't know, a whole lot of stuff has changed in a week's time. I know Shane's frustrated, like he always is, but he's got some internet problems, router problems to be more specific. And so, Shane, you're not pretty optimistic going into tomorrow about this tournament. Is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And we talked about this before we got on, but tell the lovely viewers about your struggles if you could.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, Trey. It happened at the worst possible time, to be fair. Like you and I were talking about it right before we got on live on air. So I basically have a 3-year-old Madden, or 3-year-old Madden, 3-year-old modem, which I didn't know you're supposed to get a new one every year. I pay for optic fiber, which is the top speed here. It's like runs really good. I'm not used to any lag. Um, so like it's really awesome to do and to see, and I can stream, I can play, and it feels like I'm playing offline. To be fair, well. So here's what happened for me is the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden it crashed for me. The whole modem, it just stopped kind of working. It started giving me issues. Well, I got online. I get on the internet chat and with the Xfinity, which I'm with Trey, and so I'm dealing with them and these. Uh, I don't want to swear. So these people, uh, they're trying to sell me stuff instead of like trying to help me, and I'm getting frustrated. And finally, these people are like, okay, hey, this one person's like, understand it's kind of messed up what they're doing. We'll send you the modem on, I believe, on Thursday evening. Well, Thursday morning, I get a text from Xfinity that says, hey, no need, your internet is back up perfectly. So I'm like, cool, okay, we're good. So I decide to just, use my modem, and I log on Thursday afternoon. I try to play, and crappy internet. Just it's lagging, like it's hard to kick anything. It's hard to pick a place and adjust super fast. So it's giving me trouble. And I'm like, I need the modem. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, now I can't bring it to you until November 24th. Well, unfortunately, the tournament's this weekend. So these people are still trying to sell me stuff, you guys. Still, Trey, they're literally like, this one person got me on and was like, hey, do you want to sign up for 1000 Mbps or 1200, excuse me, 1200 Mbps, and you'll get a free phone and a free iPad, and you'll save money. And I'm like, no, I just want my technician, right, Trey? And they're like, I know, we're gonna get you a technician, but let's try to do this deal. And while I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute, I get 1300 Mbps already. Why would I want to go to 1200? I'm like, are you trying to what are you trying to do? And they're like, oh, my bad. I'm like, yeah, let's just get my new modem ordered up. that's all I want to do. They're like, sure, and they disconnect on me, Trey. They like boot me out of the chat, so I have to go to a new person. They keep trying it. Like I don't know what's going on with Xfinity, trying to sell me stuff that I don't really want. Well, so then, so then today, was it today? No, it was late last night. So I actually tried to play again, and I could barely play, Trey. It was so laggy. Um, right before we were on with you, or right before we went live, Trey, it was 62% of my normal speed is what my modem's feeding me. And I'm hardwired and everything. Well, now that I'm streaming, it is saying that I'm only getting 50% of my modems or of my internet speed, and I need to restart the gateway. Like my modem is the issue. The one person who actually tried to help me out of Xfinity chat, they said it's really just the modem. They can see it on their end that the modem's just not doing what it's supposed to do anymore. Like obviously it gave me 3 years, but anyways, Trey, yeah, it's put me in a pretty tough spot, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely a pretty tough spot. And it's kind of funny because you definitely, I think, went more in depth with it than we were just talking. So, but that's good stuff for sure. So, yeah, sorry, I just lost my train of thought for a second. So, this happened. I think this is kind of old news at this point. This is like, I don't know, like a week or so old, but I might be tripping. I don't know. I think Shane can verify this for me. So the Madrid tournament for Madden, it's kind of a big deal, and we were talking about it. But it's kind of a big deal because this is the first time that Madden has had like, I guess, an international kind of feel to it, which is pretty cool. And Clef ended up winning that tournament. He defeated Lambo in the finals. And my only takeaways from that is that you can tell that like the people that do the MCS streams just don't care anymore. Like the whole time they're just kind of joking around. They're not really taking it seriously. Like when I first started watching the MCS streams in like 2017 and stuff like that, it was a lot more like they would take it seriously, and they would actually like commentate like it was something now. But I mean, you fast forward to now, it's like it's clear that they don't really care, and like EA is just basically just doing it just to promote mud cards and stuff like that. So that's kind of the main takeaway. I mean, you had this one situation. I think it was like the opening drive where it was a fourth down. Clef is driving. It's the opening game. It's a fourth down, and then they cut away. They cut the camera away, and they're doing something. And then they come back. It's like, oh, we scored a touchdown, and then it's like they didn't even show the play that resulted in a touchdown. So that's kind of the takeaway. And I wanted to ask Shane if you got a chance to see that at all. What do you think about Clef now that he's kind of won more tournaments and everything?
First off, shout out Trey Jr. in the chat, man. What's good with you, bro? Honestly, I didn't watch the Madrid Championship, Trey. Like, I believe it was super early in the morning, and I had other stuff that I was doing. But no, I think I said it in the podcast where I said once Clef wins one, he'll probably win multiple because the first one's the hardest to get, and then if you keep losing in the championship, it's going to make it even more stressful. So I think I said that once Clef wins one, he'll win multiple ones because it makes it easier. And I'll stick with that. Trey, what do you think on that?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I think. Do you like what do you think this means for Henry? Because Henry comes in, he's the first person to win a millionaire off of competitive Madden. I'm not sure like where he was at in the tournament, but do you think that because he's had a lot of success overall, people are already calling him the GOAT, which I don't know if You would agree if you would agree that Henry is a goat at this point, but I think I would probably say yeah at this point he's probably proved that. But do you think that now that he's at this level, it's going to be hard for him? And you think if he's going to take a step down, do you see anyone else that might take the throne from him?
Honestly, Trey, right now, I think Henry's put the GOAT talk to bed right now. I think Henry is the best player of all time. I mean, he's doing it in an era where it's much harder to do. Like, no disrespect to previous champions. It's just being honest. There's way more people now that, you know, there's way better people. There's way more people. There's way more people that run the meta. And again, there's two things that I'm not gonna argue with people about. I'm just gonna say my piece and move on. Player cards matter. Don't let anyone tell you. Having the top team definitely matters. And number two, as much as I don't like to do it, the meta produces champions, right? It's just how you react when it's happening. So for me, like Henry's the GOAT. I think I would honestly say Henry wins a belt every year until he either retires or until he gets sidetracked with like other life. I mean, I saw, I just don't see anybody really stopping him completely. Winning a belt every year is super hard for one, but I do think that Henry will win a belt next year and he'll win a belt the year after. I just think unless life gets in the way for, you know, one reason or not, I think he'll add on to his total belt watch. And I think that, I think right now you can't argue that there's anyone better as a whole, Trey.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. And I wanted to ask you because I was thinking about this. You played Henry. I don't think you haven't played him recently, but I do remember one year. I don't know if you can even remember what year it was that you played him. It was probably like a few years ago at this point. But I was thinking back, like, there's probably not a whole lot of like top pros, and I'm talking like MCS era, you know, any era you even played Problem, not too long ago. But is there any like main players like that you can think of, like off the top of your head, that's like a household name that you haven't played yet? And then also like when you're playing these pros, because you've played a lot of them, is there anything special about what it is like when you play them, or do you think it's kind of, they're just kind of whatever? Like nothing they do is really separating themselves from, Joe Schmo. Well, it's not like they're not separating, but like they're not as good as you would think they are.
Um, so good. Sorry, I heard everything you said, Trey. Trey Jr., yeah, work is always drama infested. Just don't involve yourself if you don't, if you can get away with it. Rose, I feel you about EA. Trust me. And at late night, yeah, I feel you on that. The meta, no, you're good, Rose. I'm over here, Rose, complaining about my internet because I need a new modem and my stuff is laggy, which is happening at the worst time possible for tournaments. But it happens. It's life, I guess. It's just gonna be annoying as f. I get the new modem on the 24th, so I'll be back to being able to do stuff. Trey, yeah, I played Henry and I lost 9-6, and it was a tournament game, and he was 15 years old. Because the reason why I remember this is he was being recruited for all these people that the Skimbos, the Problems, the W's to like join the crew of what they were with. And I ended up losing 9-6, and people were like giving me like kudos, and I'm just like, this is weird. Like, who is this kid? Like, why are they giving me kudos? I don't, because I didn't know who he is and all that stuff. And and so that was my first. introduction to Henry, and obviously he's gotten much better, but he was 15. I don't know how old he is now. So whatever minus his age is what Madden it was. And so let's see, I've played Problem, I've played Skimbo, I've played Hollywood, I've played Dez, uh, I've played Serious Madden, I've played Master Gamer when he was big at the time, I've played Kobo. Who have I not played? That's a good one, Trey. I'm trying to figure out who I haven't played. I played Problem for the first time this year. Uh, let's see. I've played Kiv. I don't know actually, Trey. I mean, honestly, I don't know of anyone I haven't played. Maybe that is like maybe somebody who's newer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here I'll throw this one out. I haven't played Dreeny at all, so I haven't played Dreeny. I'll say that I've never played Dreeny.
Yeah, no, Dreeny's a good pull, and then the second part of my question, I don't know, like maybe you got sidetracked, and it's all good. Shout out to Trey Jr. and Rose for being in the chat. We always appreciate your engagement, but Shane's kind of an old man, and he tends to get sidetracked quite a bit. But now the second part of my question was like when you play like these top guys, is there? I mean, obviously there's a difference, right? Obviously these guys are considered professional as for a reason, but I mean, like when you play these guys, are they that much better? Like, is there like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, I'm playing a professional all of a sudden, or is it just kind of whatever to you?
My bad, Trey. Honestly, bro, it was I didn't get sidetracked on the sense of that. It was like when you were like, "Yo, who haven't you played?" That's when my brain, started smoking, started burning up, all that. And Rose, tell me about the double coverage. That is, yeah, that's wild. Um, no, so they're better for sure, Trey. Like they're better in the sense of they know every ability that needs to be used on the field. Their knowledge is A plus. I'm not going to take it away. Their knowledge is A plus. They know what abilities need to be used, what formations work, what formations break the game, what formations exploit the game, what formations they can use to counter the meta. So their knowledge is A plus, Trey. They make way less mistakes, man. They make way less mistakes, Trey. Like, I mean, like you can play somebody like that is really good, which I've lost to really good players that aren't like top pros, obviously. And there's times that I've not locked in, but we're talking about strictly top pros. And when I've played them, the main difference to me is knowledge compared to the normal people, and they make the correct reads 99.9% of the time. And if you give them too much time, they'll pick you apart. Um, so for me, it's knowledge and the offensive side of the game for the most part. On defense, like their users, whatever. Most of them's defense is whatever. I'm not impressed with their user for most top pros. So take it how you want on that one. But for me, it's knowledge is A plus, Trey. They don't make many mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. So like guys that like fit me where like I have a good chance against top pros or players like Problem or Serious Mo where like they're not they're not really super explosive on offense, and on defense like it's more like bend but don't break. Whereas like the guys like in the past that gave me horrible matchups for me personally were like Kiv and Skimpo that are extremely high powered in offense, and on defense, they know formations and stunts and blitzes to dumb out the offensive line. Like, like one of the famous ones back in the day was Skimbo running the Mike Scrape three. Like, and then I figured it out, and then I could beat most people. So, I mean, it definitely is all about the knowledge, Trey. That's the main thing. Is the knowledge is humongous. that's what separates them from normal good players, which is a slimmer margin than people would think, especially with YouTube out, Twitch, ebooks, but also adapting. So that's another one that I forgot. So here, I'll just list it in order. Number one's knowledge, Trey. It is a big, big deal. Number two is they're very, very good on the offensive end. Other than that, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I'm rambling on, but like it's more knowledge and their offensive ability, which is very good compared to the defensive side, Trey.
Yeah, yeah, knowledge is definitely going to be number one. And it's like we've had this conversation, like they know everything. Their user skills, though, is not really up to par. Now, obviously, we've kind of, taught to that to death. But kind of going on that same topic, when you look back at your entire Madden career, right? You've been doing this for quite some time. What would you say is like your favorite memory? Like if you were to look back and the Madden career totality, what do you think it would be? Going to Vegas would be your favorite memory in your entire Madden career, or something else? So,
That's honestly, Trey, I enjoy these conversations, bro. You're killing it, man. So for me, yeah, it was when I wasn't even taking Madden serious, to be fair. It was the Vegas trip, Madden 13. I'll never ever forget it in my life. Just for the simple fact is that my whole family went outside my kid, the oldest at the time, because obviously you can't do much in Vegas. What we were planning on doing. My parents went, my brother and sister-in-law went, my wife went, and honestly, man, at nighttime we partied. During the day we sightseed, like sight saw, or however you want to say the correct term. And then we did the tournament. I do wish that I would have made it back then with how I play now, because honestly, it probably would have been a top four run. I would have won probably 40K, and it would have set up a lot of the future things. But it is what it is. But yeah, definitely that. And then Madden 16 was the other one when a lot of the old head pros started realizing who I was. Like obviously the new pros won't know me really because I haven't done anything impressive. Just being fair to myself and being honest with myself. But the old heads were knowing me. So it'd be Madden 13 and then Madden 16, Trey.
yeah, no doubt. And this is kind of like this might be like a new conversation for me because I'm pretty sure I probably asked you about this like before, but I feel like I haven't really like asked you about this like recently, so I kind of forgot. But because you weren't someone that like played video games like when you were growing up, like it took you a while before you kind of got into it. So like, how did you first like figure out about like Madden 13? Like, when did you start playing it, and how did you hear about like the tournaments and stuff back in the day, if you can remember?
So like here's what it was. So when I used to live at home with my parents, I'd play it, but like nothing compared to like what the kids do nowadays. Like not even close, man. Maybe like an hour here and there during the night. But like I said, most of the time I was doing sports and stuff. But like there'd be sometimes like my dad and I would just sit down and play like college football '99, right? And play for a few hours, which was awesome. But lots of times, like I said, we're in sports and doing all that stuff. So what would happen is my brother, I would spend the night at his house with my girlfriend, which is now my wife, with him and his wife, who was his girlfriend at the time, and we would spend the night. And I believe he had the PS3 tray or PS2. I can't remember. I think it was PS2. Maybe it was PS3. I don't really remember, dude. Like I'm old head. And we would play on the weekends, bro, together. He would have Madden, and I'd go over there. We, you know, eat, watch movies, play the video games, and it wasn't like we were looking anything up. We just like he would play defense, I'd play offense, or vice versa, depending on the time. And I was pretty good at it even then, just for not knowing. I was pretty good, and like I'll always remember, bro, like when we broke into the top 1,000 on head-to-head regs leaderboard. Me and him were so pumped, bro, and just crazy to think like where that started to where it is now. I think it was like Madden 10 or Madden '09 when we were doing that. I believe I got my first console where I did Madden. I think it was Madden 11, and I think I was the Raiders because I knew that I could pitch it with like McFadden, and he was super fast, and I did pretty good. And like I'd still go to my brother's house and play, but it was like starting to get like where I was like, okay, I'm actually pretty good. And then on Madden 13, I decided to look at. I don't remember actually what got me on there, Trey. I don't know if somebody I knew online told me about it, which is very possible and whatnot. But then basically, my brother and I both tried out to make the tournament. My brother didn't make it. I made it, and I'm like, damn, I'm decent. And then I went to Vegas and I got beat by the guy, and I was kind of pissed off, man, when I left. I was kind of pissed off, like, even though that wasn't my like job, it was just like a fun little hobby. I was like, hell no, because I'm a competitive person. I'm like, nah, I need to figure it out. So when I got home from Vegas after I slept the one day to get it all back, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out. So I started figuring out. I played the guy that beat me in Vegas for money, and I mean, I completely destroyed him, Trey. Like, I think it was like a 30-point win, and I beat him for money, and then he just like never played me ever again, and he even admitted later on that like I got too good at the game. And then, like I said, then work came in. I didn't do anything Madden 14. The end of Madden 15, I decided to buy Madden 15. That's when the whole play ball thing went down with the whole like scam, like hustle. And then Madden 16 was like when I really locked in and I could tell that like I could handle the business. So I mean, it kind of like it was like a slow burn into like a forest fire, if that makes sense, Trey. That's how I started realizing how I was at Madden.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's like when you went back, when you go to that Vegas tournament, right? Obviously, it was kind of the situation where you end up losing, and it was kind of whatever at the time. You were like, I got a Vegas trip out of this, and you know, which is cool on its own. But you were really in tune with like the community at the time. Like, I think I remember one time you actually seen Problem there, but you had no idea who he was. But then everyone at the tournament was like, "Oh, that's Problem." Blah blah blah. So if it was like if you knew like the community as a whole now, and like you kind of knew like you're like more in tune with the community, do you think that you would have stayed and watched like the other people compete in the tournament, or would you still take the same approach where you're like, okay, I lost, I'm out of here? You know what I mean?
That's a good one. Yeah, I definitely saw a problem there. And I saw a couple of the other guys that are like, I don't even know if they play anymore that were like the bigger names, but it depends on who I was with. Depends on if like if you were there playing, let's just say you made the tournament, I'd watch you. If like the UMC crew was there, I'd stay and watch. But like honestly, bro, if it was just me and my family like it was last time, right now, I and I wasn't cool with any of the people there, and it just was whatever, I'd leave because like I don't really care. Like, I mean, it's cool to watch. Now, if I didn't have anything to do, I'd probably watch, but like I was just like, you know what I mean? I just left, bro. I was like, whatever, that's bull crap. And we went and walked the strip, and then that night we went to some top notch clubs. So, but yeah, I mean, it was the same old thing. The Mountain community has always been, what money plays work, and that's what separated Problem. So kudos to Problem. And back in the day, he had people and he himself figured things out, and there was not that much YouTube. There wasn't YouTube, I don't think, that much, anyways. Which wasn't what it was, so it was kept to the vest, right? Nowadays, everybody knows everything. Like I said, man, I still don't understand some of the stuff, even with UMC and all that, with them helping. Like, I still don't know everything, Trey. I still don't know like every little, in and out that will work. And I just play my game, man. Could I be better if like I took like 12-hour days every day like they do during the mountain season? Like I said, I've heard a lot of them say, yeah, I basically tell my family, my wife, blah blah blah, depending on who it was, I'm gonna play 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 6 days a week from August to March. So that's just the way it is. And then from April till like July, I'll do whatever you guys want. I mean, I try to do that, but like I have a little one, I have stuff I have to deal with and do. And so it's not that I sometimes do wonder though, Trey, like if I was 19, 20, how good I could have been, how much I probably would have tried to play once I realized how good I was. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. You just got to keep pushing forward. And you know, it's kind of interesting when you look back at like the old Madden days. Like, I don't know, Shane, if you've watched Madden Nation, but it was like a TV show that was on ESPN, and we're talking like going back to like the 2000s, but it was on ESPN too, and you could even like I think all the episodes are on YouTube if you just type in Madden Nation, but it was like a thing. And Kevin Hart's brother was actually one of the players. He was like a big name in like the community at the time, so maybe maybe you walked past him but didn't know it at the time. So going from Madden 13, you lose that tournament, and like you kind of talked about, but how did you find out about Gamer Saloon? If you remember that at first.
Gamers, from Virgin Gaming, Trey. Um, Basically, when I was doing Virgin Gaming, I believe they started closing it down to American people. Just Canada was the only one, which really sucked because I love Virgin Gaming. Virgin Gaming was like legit, bro. And people told me about Gamer Saloon when they were leaving Virgin Gaming, and that's how I ended up on Gamer Saloon. Now I didn't play it for a couple years because of like work, but once I came back, I remembered like Gamer Saloon, and I looked it up and found it.
Okay, got you. So this was Madden 13, and then after the tournament, you kind of you kind of went back to like grinding, just like raising the kid and like working jobs. But then a few years later, circumstances and all that, and I think it was like around Madden 15 is when you got back on Gamer Saloon and kind of went from there.
Yeah, definitely went from there, man. Like a couple years, like in between working a lot of hours, with the Corey, the solo kid at the time. Um, but for me, it is it was like just trying to figure out what I needed to do once I came back. In Madden 15, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I said, I trusted everybody, bro. I trusted everybody, and I got scammed. And so then Madden 16, I knew it was just freaking war. I almost swore, almost got our license taken away, Trey. But no, I knew Madden 16 it was on, and like I said, I'm being dead serious when I say it was like Madden 13. I left after the Vegas tournament. I was pissed off at myself for losing to that guy, even though it was a hobby. I just don't like losing, and he beat me fair and square. There was like a player or two here where his spectator fan, however you want to say it, said this guy's open and he hit him. Whereas now I would be like, nah, that's not how it is. I would have made him run it back. But it's what it is. I can't be too mad on that because it was for fun. And then, like I said, I got home and I played it and figured out some plays and stuff that works. And then I played him, like I said, for money, beat him. Took a couple years off, basically, Madden 15 at the end. I, got taken for my money. Not a lot of money, but probably like 300-400 bucks. I thought one dude was really cool. We don't need to say that dude's name anymore, really. And then I started realizing like people were whispering like, "Hey, just so you know, he hustles and he scams." And I was kind of dumb, you know what I mean? Trey, I was like, "Nah, he's a cool dude." And then Madden 16 came, and I was really good because I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna make myself be good. I want to make money on the site." And I started beating that dude's face in over and over, and he ended up blocking me, and the went back and forth where he told people not to play me. So finally, I got fed up and told people not to play him. Um, it was just a lot of hoopla, Trey, but like that's where on Madden 16 I did a lot of tournaments, and I was making deep runs, beating Serious Mo, beating Hollywood. Ended up losing Skimbo in like 3 of the 4 tournaments that were humongous at the time on Gamer Saloon because it was the biggest thing at the time, even more than MCS at that moment, which I regret not doing now. But I just kind of made a next step, Trey, next leap on getting better and improving myself. Unfortunately, I feel like I've kind of evened out. Like I'm pretty darn good. Like I'm gonna beat most people, but I just think maybe like it's not. It might be my age. It might be it's mutt. Like I've been told by some pros that are legit top 100 players that they think that I would destroy people in regs and be elite in regs. And to be fair, Trey, that's Madden 13, bro. That's where I went to Vegas on regs. I don't know what it is. It might just be the play style or whatnot, and maybe I just don't know how to set the abilities up and all that stuff. Who knows? Like it'll be the eighth wonder of the world, Trey.
Yeah, no doubt, eighth wonder of the world. So yeah, and then Madden 13, you took off and you kind of got back into it in Madden 15 towards the end, like you said. And I think if you were to take the totality of everything, I think Madden 16 would probably be the most successful year in terms of Madden, right? Because I think that was the year that you started selling ebooks, and you kind of sold a lot of them. And I know that there there was some problems with that. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but it was pretty successful overall as a whole for Madden 16. So would you say that Madden 16 was like the best year for you overall? And I mean, when you came back to Madden 15, did it take you a while to kind of find your footing after taking like a 2 year hiatus, or were you able to kind of pick things up pretty quickly?
Man, Trey, you're on one tonight, bro. Kudos, bravo to you on these questions. I love them, man, and it's actually making my brain work because I haven't thought of some of this stuff in a long time. So I appreciate it. No, Madden 15, like I just like kind of like logged on and was like, oh, playing a little bit, and then I'm like, oh yeah, gamer soon. Because when I'm talking about the end of Madden 15, I think it was like June or like July when I joined Gamer Saloon for Madden 15, and like I didn't know about because I can remember now. There's like a rocket catch, but it was like they not the rocket catch. Like, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Trey, you know what I'm talking about. It was the one where like they turn and like leap up super high and you couldn't stop them. They did something. I don't remember what exactly they did, but it took me, it took me a little bit of time, a little bit to again more the knowledge, Trey. That's what I'm gonna say. Madden 16 wasn't my most successful year money wise. No, it was equal to Madden 16, Madden 17, Madden 18, and I believe Madden 19. I had like a 4 year period where I was making pretty darn good money. But for Madden 16, was it the most successful overall by just a winning standpoint, from a money standpoint, from being almost like, like where people were like, I was kind of known. I was known in the Madden community at that time. Yes, yes, and yes. Madden 16 Trey was by far the most successful. Um, I was beating top pros at the time. I was making good money. I did sell a lot of ebooks in Madden 16. I did have at one time where the guy, I think this is what you're talking about, where he bought an ebook and all that stuff for a high amount, and then he basically did a chargeback on PayPal right before Christmas. And I'm like, yo, I don't have the money to pay this right before Christmas, so they let me do it after the new year, which pissed me off. He had a black card for, so for people that know what black cards are, that means you have a lot of money. Well, it was his daddy's money, but on that. But Trey, yeah, and it was weird because on Madden 16 though, because how I keep going back to the knowledge thing, the knowledge, it's the knowledge, and I will stick by it. That for the most part, it's 50% knowledge, 25% on being elite at offense, and then 25% at you know defensive plays that kind of glitch out the offense. But it was weird, Trey, in Madden 16, bro. I didn't know anything still. The only thing that I struggled with was Mike Scrape 3. And actually, the guy that helped me and then kind of regretted helping me was Skimbo. When he's like, you just slide protect the opposite way of the blitz because it makes it. And then he's like, oh man, I shouldn't tell you because you've been doing good in tournaments. Which, I mean, it didn't matter in the end playing him, but overall, even with not knowing how to block the mic scrape, like I could run on people and I had hella good defense because at that time users mattered, bro. Like switching up and jumping the routes, you could take away 2, 3 routes at the time. Once they changed over to like I believe PlayStation 5, you can't do it as much as you used to. You can only take maybe a route or two away. And then now they have this dumb switch stick. And I know some pros think it's elite level skill set, which it is to a degree, but it also makes defensive calls dumb. And like I said, my guy EA, they really fought tooth and nail back and forth about setting a cap on switch sticking to 3 per play because they think it doesn't help the game as much as some of these pros think so. But no, Madden 16 though, Trey, it was literally like you said, my most successful overall from money standpoint, from fame standpoint, from ebook selling, and from beating the top pros standpoint.
Yeah, no, the switch stick thing, like we were, like you were talking about, that was another thing that I noticed just, watching these tournaments. But I mean, it's like, they're just like switching back and forth, pulling guys here, pulling guys here. Yeah, it's nuts. Thankfully, I haven't seen that too much, but I can imagine, like, playing MCS at a high level and having to deal with that all the time. I'm hoping that they change it or they do like what your EA guy said and kind of make it like limited because it's kind of ridiculous, I would say. So yeah, Madden 16 was pretty successful. One more question on Gamer Saloon is like what was the most money that you've won in like a single tournament, and what was the most money that you've lost like in general, like in one game?
Um, you talk. I'll just give you the whole answers. I believe the biggest tournament I ever won because it's been, like I said, it's been like 5 plus years. But I think the biggest tournament was getting second place 3 times out of the four, and it was $1,500 each time that I got it. Like I said, and I think Skimbo went home with 5K on each tournament win. So like, if you think about it, it was only a $25 entry fee, I believe, 20 or 25. So coming out with 1,500 and him coming out with 5K, that's some good ass money. And he ended up being signed with Gamer Saloon for a while, and I guess Gamer Saloon was close to signing me per him. They just wanted me to win one tournament, which I mean is crazy to think because Skimbo won most of them. Um, the most I ever won in one day from Madden, I believe it was when $800, I believe, in one day, maybe 1,000. The most I've ever lost in one day, maybe $50, Trey. Um, honestly, I'm not trying to hype myself up or like seem like I'm bull crapping, but I didn't lose that much, Trey. Like honestly, I didn't lose that much in money games. Like I said, even they could be like, well, you were playing bums or you were playing mid tier players for sure because like the top pros didn't want to play the top pros. I played Crush. I played Joe Rice, who's Wesley. People can look up Wesley. He's one of the best players in the game for a while. And it was just like we were paying Gamer Saloon money, right? He'd win one, I'd win one. He'd win one, I'd win one. So in the end, we were paying Gamer Saloon. So most top pros, as soft as it sounds, didn't really play each other for the most part. Where so then it just was like top pros playing other people, and they just weren't as good. Trey, I think in 1 month the most I ever made was like 7K, 8K because I took 5K from the one dude, and then I made a couple K playing other people, and then unfortunately that was like my last year making good money because then for the most part people were like following me more, which you can do on Gamer Saloon, and even with me resetting my record and all that stuff, people knew who I was, and it just got really, really, really hard to make a good buck from it. And like I said, then I got hired out for a while from this one college person. It's like it was pretty wild. Rose wants me to tell you, Trey, have you been seeing the AI edits people are doing of player press conferences from NFL? They're on Instagram or Facebook. There's one of Mahomes after the Broncos' 22-19 win over KC, and he says, wow, Andy Reid's burger, love and ass, better stop calling these bad plays. We're 5-5 and lost both shits, no playoffs. Yo, I haven't seen any of that, Rose. I don't have Facebook and I don't have IG. But like AI's gotten crazy as hell, Rose. Those are some crazy things. Pretty soon people are gonna get they're gonna get sued. I'm telling you that's what's eventually gonna happen. Especially if certain things go, you know, very negative on the AI. They're wild. They're funny, but they're wild. But yeah, Trey, that's basically what. Hopefully, I answered you correctly.
Yeah, no question. I've seen a few of what Rose is talking about with the AI press conferences, and it's kind of wild to me because like I look at like the UFC, right? Like the way that they do their press conferences, like it's a lot more kind of energetic. It's a lot more genuine, I think. And I get like with that, maybe they're trying to sell a fight, so they kind of have to go a little bit more over the top. But like you go to like the NFL and like the NBA and their press conferences, you can tell they've been media trained for the most part. Like they're not gonna like go up there and kind of even though it happens, but they're not gonna just outright say, "Oh, this guy sucks. I hate my offensive coordinator." This and that. So that was always kind of interesting to me. But maybe with this whole like AI press conference thing, people can use that, and then they could kind of see kind of see like what the real version of what they're really thinking and stuff like that. So yeah, Shane, the Gamer Saloon, I enjoy the Gamer Saloon talk and all that. And I think the most interesting thing is like, you were in these Gamer Saloon chats. And Skimbo, I know Skimbo was one of them. I can't remember if like who the other guy was. But they were talking about MCS, and then you kind of inquired about it, and they were like, "Oh, Shane, don't worry about it. It's not, what it was." Like when you look back on that conversation, because I think you probably listened to him at the time. You're like, "Okay, it's not that important." At the time, like, do you think if you would have known about MCS, like when it first started getting popular, do you think you would have tried to do MCS a lot earlier? Or do you think you would have just stuck to what you've known until? And I know that there's been like circumstances that kind of like expedited the process of you getting into MCS versus just sticking to Players Lounge. I mean, you kind of covered the reasons and everything, but if you knew about MCS like before, do you think you would have dove into it a lot earlier than you did?
Yeah, it was Skimbo and his buddy Prime Time. I don't know what happened to that dude actually. He might still be playing. Because there's a prime time that does leaderboards and it's really good still on MCS. But yeah, man, for sure they told me like, don't worry about it, don't try out, it's a waste of time. And now that I think about it, like they had to be a little bit worried because why would you tell somebody don't worry about it like that? You would just be like, yeah, go ahead and try it, right? Good luck, instead of being like, nah, man, because like, I mean, at that time they'd already seen me make the championship, right, on Gamersoon for I believe it was at the time it was tournament one. So they saw that and that was the one that I beat Mo on. So I definitely think that, and Skimbo actually was saying in the chat after that happened because I beat Hollywood, I beat somebody else I can't remember at the time. Then I beat Serious Mo, and then I lost to Skimbo's. That like I had a gauntlet to get through, and I made it. And sometimes I wonder if like just being I'm gonna use this word. This might sound a little weird, but I'm gonna say it. A little innocent about everything playing Madden helped me more, or if it was just because it was regs and it fit me, maybe I would have done Mutt and sucked. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely regret not doing Mutt when they said it. Like nowadays, when they said nah, don't worry about it, I would have done it because I would have been like, yeah, the Madden community is just shady. I learned a lot. Unfortunately, now there's like 20 to 50 times more of the people trying to be great in MCS than it was back then. Rose said the most recent one to tell Trey is that Drake made talking saying Justin Fields is booty. We put belt to on the Jets' crappy defense. Crown us because we're 9-2. Jets are booty. Go Patriots. I don't know if you saw. I don't. I don't know if you saw that one, Trey. But yeah. So I'm just letting you know what she wrote, and I am sharing it, Rose, and I'm sharing it to you, Trey. But yeah, it was. I wish that back then Trey I would have went and tried out.
Yeah, and the Houston Texans actually beat the Bills last night, and I don't know. Like, I know the popular consensus is like, Josh Allen doesn't have a whole lot of weapons, but like, I didn't see the whole game. I'm not gonna lie. I seen the highlights, but there's just a lot of times where that dude is just kind of running around with the chicken with his head cut off. And I mean, it's been like how many years? Like, I just don't think Josh Allen's going to be the guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take or whatever, but that's just kind of the consensus that I came to after yesterday. But shout out to the Houston Texans for beating the Bills and just helping the Patriots on our Cinderella run that we're kind of having so far. But and I think another thing too, Shane, going off of that Madden Ultimate Team thing, it takes a lot. Like when you first started getting into Ultimate Team, you had no idea what was going on, and I think you can attest to this. Like playing Madden like online with like NFL rosters like the classic way, and you know nothing about MUD. It is night and day difference the mode. So I think like you kind of got screwed over. Like say you kind of came up playing MUD, or you had like somebody that played MUD that would help you kind of like say, hey, these are kind of what the cards are going to be doing. This is like what you need to do. This chemistry ability gives this guy +2 jumping. Like there's a lot of stuff that you had to know. So do you think that if you had someone that like helped you in MUT like early on, because you had no idea what you're doing? I mean, there's still things you don't really know, and it's been like 5 or so years. But I definitely think that like if you like started earlier and you had someone that could help you, I think you could have been like better at MUT, honestly. But
Trey, honestly, yes, I agree with you. Like I said, it's like I was like a blind person being thrown out into the woods, trying to find my way home. Like that's basically what it was. I mean, I didn't know it played differently. The abilities mattered a lot. There was cheat cards that were better than the top cards back in the day. I just didn't understand it because I was just used to like, hey, I'm gonna pick this team and play with them. So yes, I do agree with you that if there were people that were, down to help me and down to figure it out, I probably would have adapted and been much better. Rose said, yeah, the Josh Allen thing looks really bad, but at the same time, what real weapons does Allen have besides James Cook? Shakir has proved he's not a 1, Palmer's a 3, more a 4, and Coleman thinks he's still afford to state college parties. For me, I think Allen holds the ball too long, but sometimes that induces greatness and sometimes that induces like failure. But yeah, Trey, I definitely think that it would have it would have definitely helped me, man, if somebody would have helped me. And I appreciate it, Trey Jr. Have fun on the Apex, man. But yeah, I just think I would have it would have helped me for sure, Trey.
Yeah, and then when you first started out, I think Madden 19 was like the first MCS year that you kind of went full throttle. And I mean, Madden 19, I would say Madden 19 through let's say Madden 22. They did the whole format where it was Ultimate Team, but there was like, you had salary cap, you had draft champions, and maybe like a race tournament, which, like for that one, when they did have the race tournament for the modern MCS, you couldn't qualify online, so you had to actually fly to take the plane, take it yourself, and then show up at like an independent tournament and stuff like that. But yeah, ever since it's been kind of mutt. So I mean, I can imagine like the people that are like used to play Madden a certain way, and then all of a sudden have to get thrown into into the deep end, and it's like, hey, figure it out. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny, Shane. You were talking about how Josh Allen holds the ball too long, all too long. I almost forgot about this, and I would have been upset because someone else that has a notion of holding the ball too long is Shadur Sanders, who finally got into it. I mean, we're talking like this has been like years in the making of Shadur Sanders that has come in. Dylan Gabriel goes out. I think it's been confirmed that he's going to play this week. I forget who they play. I know they play like at the late window games. I think it's like the Raiders or something. I'm not too sure right now, but it's going to confirm that he's going to be start. So, Shane, I know Shadur is a controversial topic. I just want to know like which side do you kind of fall on? Do you fall on the side of I knew he was kind of trash and he kind of proved it, or are you on the side of people saying he didn't have a lot of reps with like the number ones, so he kind of got thrown into a situation he wasn't ready for and all that? Like, where do you kind of coincide with that?
I mean, for me, honestly, bro, I believe it was only one half after that Dylan Gabriel or whatever QB got hurt. I mean, people are way too overactive now, and I know social media makes everybody have a soapbox, but I mean, come on, A, give the kids some time. I mean, and B, like, it's not like the Browns are that very good, but I just I don't know. I just think that people need to like not think that somebody's so bad or so great right away. I mean, it very rarely works out that way. Rose said, "What is your opinion of Justin Herbert? Does he think he's big game pretty boy like everyone else?"
I think like with Justin Herbert, like I watched Justin Herbert, like from what I could see, like he's an elite quarterback. He's probably like, I don't know, you could probably put him in the top five. Honestly, I think top five is probably decent. But when I look at Justin Herbert, I don't think he has that killer instinct in him. I think like I don't know if he's like from California. I know he went to school in Oregon, but he kind of seems like he has that kind of like thing to him where it's like I don't it doesn't really matter to him if he wins or he loses. He's just kind of he's good at football. He likes football, but like if he loses a game, it's kind of not like the end of the world. Like to guys like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's, like if they lose a game, it's like life or death pretty much. Like, and that's the one thing I'll say about Mahomes. Like Mahomes fan, I think Andy Reid is the reason that he's successful. Not like the only reason, but a main reason. But I can say that Mahomes has that killer instinct in him. I can see that, but that's kind of what I think about Justin Herbert. What about you, Shane?
I would agree. I mean he's a pretty damn good QB for sure. He is born in Eugene, Oregon, you guys. But yeah, I mean he's pretty darn good. Like I don't know, like yeah, I feel like Mahomes has the more it factor. I don't know if it's a killer instinct, like you said, Trey, or just he just has more of the it factor. But like I definitely thought that we'd be hearing more about him lately, but like he like looking at his numbers though, bro, like he's top 3 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns. His QBR is middle of the pack though, but I mean it's pretty good numbers overall. I don't know. It just like I just thought that maybe he'd be much bigger at this point, which is might be crazy because he's a good QB anyways.
Yeah, no question. Speaking of football, I had to bring this up. I actually tested you when the Seattle Seahawks lost to the Los Angeles Rams last week. I tested Shane and I was like, that if the Seahawks were to win that game, the Seattle Seahawks are probably the only team that I've seen that can turn the ball over multiple times and still find a way to win somehow. But unfortunately, you guys couldn't. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. Although I think his numbers were actually pretty decent. It's just that, he turned the ball over 4 times. But, Shane, like when you look at that game, it was kind of, you're on the road going against the Rams. And I think that was kind of your consensus. You were like, it was kind of a measuring stick kind of game, right? And you think that you kind of like what you've seen overall, minus the turnovers, and that you're gonna get back at it this week. But
I mean, and I really quick, I'm going to answer to you, Trey. Rose said the O line's atrocious. The front office failed them, and a stroke of bad luck. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I haven't watched tons of the LA Chargers games. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, he definitely is a good enough QB. If you built around him, he could make a good playoff run, possibly win it all. Uh, Trey, yeah, I wasn't that mad, man. I mean, Darnold was terrible. I mean, he was really bad. He made bad reads. He missed a couple guys that would have been a touchdown. Um, and they still barely lost. They had a chance for a miracle field goal to beat them. So for me, it's like what I text you, Trey, is it's on the road. It's all right. If Darnold throws 3 picks, they win. If Darnold throws 2 picks, they win by much more because 2 of the 4 interceptions were red zone interceptions where the Rams scored touchdowns off of them. So 14 points right inside the 20. I mean, you're looking at a 19-7 game. Stafford did not look that great. The Seahawks defense was really, really good. And unfortunately, they lost because Darnold had a terrible game. And hopefully, that's that. But it'll be, you get them at home, you're equal. Rose said every person will say excuses, but LA is literally putting guys who are ranked 32 PFF out of 32 across all 5 positions. Yeah, that's wild, Rose. If you guys ever get bored though, you should look up right guard Bradford for the Seattle Seahawks and put in like he's the worst right guard in the league. He does some wild stuff. He just kind of stands there lots of times. But yeah, Trey, they're gonna dominate the Titans and Cam Ward. I will say that Cam Ward is gonna look terrible. I'm gonna say he's gonna have 2 picks minimum. I think the Seahawks beat them like 26-7, 28-7.
all right, you heard it here first. Yeah, yeah, it's been a rough year for the Titans and Cam Ward. I can tell you that. Um, So yeah, and another thing, Shane, I wanted to ask you, and I want to ask Rose because I think Rose will probably have an opinion on this too. The AJ Brown situation, Shane. I don't know if you heard about this, and it's kind of funny because I look at AJ Brown and it's like, I didn't really take him as kind of like a diva type of receiver, but there's been a lot of controversy about him kind of, bad mouthing the offense and saying, it's not being used as much, and he's kind of not satisfied with where he's being used so far. And I don't know if this is a situation you kind of know about, but if you do, like, do you think he has a point, or is he just kind of being a diva about it?
I think I think players all have egos, and I think that players will complain, a lot of them, if things don't work out. So that's where I am on the AJ Brown thing. Rose said, except in the playoffs where you only get 2-3 red zone trips and Darnold turns back into the Rams and Lions game, seeing ghosts. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he reacts and rebounds. Do I think he is great? No. Do I think he's good? Yes. Do I think he gets more hate than he should? Yes. Um, but I mean, he is what it is. He's a good QB to me. He's not somebody that will be like, oh, he's gonna put him on, he's gonna put him on their back, blah blah blah. He looked rattled. He looked rattled against the Rams, which is unfortunate. And you know, you win as a team, you lose as a team. It was a tough loss. I do like Ernest Jones basically saying if anyone's got a problem with Sam Darnold, F off. That's at least that's a healthy ego right there, Trey. Like you know how we were talking about egos, it's a healthy ego. Yeah, Ernest Jones, like his ego is to protect his QB who struggled instead of putting him down. You know what I mean? That's a healthy, good ego.
Yeah, no question. It's gonna be interesting because, like, I feel like it's one thing, like, if AJ Brown was on, like, the Raiders or, like, some kind of team that's not really, like, in contention. But I mean, you're talking about, like, the Eagles, man. Like, I think the Eagles, like, they have a chance to become a dynasty just, like, with the way, like, they're built. I still think they're the team to beat in the NFC, so I think it's gonna be interesting, like, you kind of have this dysfunction. I mean, every dynasty I think at some point had like dysfunction. I mean, you go back to the Patriots, they had the whole cheating scandals going on. That was kind of a distraction, and you had the Chiefs with I mean, there's a lot of them. You could probably say that Taylor Swift is the biggest one. So it's going to be interesting to see like with the Eagles if they're able to overcome that. But I do think the Eagles are like the team to beat in the NFC still. So it's going to be interesting to see on that. And I think with that being said, Shane, I think it's time to get to the Would You Rather segment for this week's podcast. And if you want to go first, if you have a Would You Rather question for us.
Yeah, I do. So just finishing up with like Rose. Rose said main drama about AJ Brown is the Eagles are winning, so why are you complaining? Jamar Chase had a right to complain because the Bengals D doesn't stop anyone, and Jefferson getting pissed in Minnesota because the QB carousel has been so, but he has to deal with McCarthy, Wentz, Cousins, who sucked. Like he's wasted a lot of years. The QB's always mid. Would turn and say, well, look at D Hopkins. He played great for years and played with nobodies, but Hopkins also played in the AFC South, not the AFC North. Um, Trey Jr. says F the Eagles. No, Rose, you're good. I was just trying to get like, I was just trying to get it all together because I know I want to get you out there with, your opinion because it's definitely, definitely the thing to do. So we are, like you said, gonna jump into the Would You Rather segment. And here it is, you guys. And Trey Sr., and then Trey Jr., and Rose, and then this. Would you rather have an unlimited gift card to your favorite restaurant or your favorite clothing store?
I'm not big into fashion, so I would definitely choose a restaurant. So I have to pick just one restaurant, right? Like one restaurant, I would probably choose like, and that's tough honestly because like my favorite restaurant isn't even like where I'm from. But if I pick the favorite clothes, then I could probably just order that stuff online though. So with that in mind, even though I'm not a big fan of clothes, like because if my favorite restaurant isn't like located where I'm at, I'd have to go like 2 hours for it. I'd probably pick the clothes options for that.
Um, real quick, Trey, before I answer, and I'll tell you what other people. Rose wanted to know what you thought of her opinion on the football, and then I'll answer my what I would do on the would you rather.
Okay. Can you like what was like her opinion on the football like
She
because
said
there's been a lot of.
she said her main drama about AJ Brown is that the Eagles are winning, so why are you complaining? Jamar Chase had a right to complain because the Bengals defense stinks. Jefferson's mad because his QBs are mid. And and people would say D Hopkins doesn't complain. He played great for years, played with nobodies, but he played in the AFC South. Do you agree with her or disagree?
Um, yeah, I would probably say like it's definitely kind of like it kind of rubs you the wrong way. Like if you look at an AJ Brown and you say like, well, you guys are winning, so so why are you complaining? But if I were to play devil's advocate on that, it's like okay, like you're winning, but like are you complaining because you personally aren't satisfied with not getting enough touches or etc. Or are you complaining because you actually think that if you were to do X, Y, and Z differently, that you can be better than where you are. So I think in that context, I mean the same thing goes for like Jamar Chase. Like Jamar Chase is frustrated. Obviously, the losing plays a part of it. Not having Joe Burrow in, you're frustrated because you're losing, but the deep rooted issue is there is like, are you frustrated because you're losing, or is there kind of like, you feel like you're not getting the attention? Like, is it selfish, basically? That's kind of where I'm at with that. But I think there needs to be more context to their deep rooted issues, Shane, I think is kind of my opinion on that, if that makes sense.
No, no, no. You're definitely making sense. So Rose said she would pick the food because she never buys clothes at Christmas. Somebody else gets her that. So that's money there. Trey Jr. said food because he loves to eat. And honestly, man, I'm with the whole food train. Like, I'm picking food, Trey. I would definitely just eat food, and I'd probably go to Golden Corral, honestly, because then I could switch it up. Because like at first I was like, maybe I'll pick like my sister-in-law's restaurant, which is Ferraro's, or like a rib place or a steak joint. But then I was like, man, I could go to Golden Corral, and it's good enough food where like honestly I could go eat breakfast there, right? Then I could do lunch and dinner, but I could pick different stuff, and I could eat healthy enough anyways if I wanted to. Really, you know what I mean? You don't have to overdo it, Trey. So that's where I'm at on the would you rather, and it looks like Trey Jr. and Rose are right with me.
Yeah, no, I would definitely join. I would definitely join the pack, but yeah, if it was Wingstop, which Wingstop is like my favorite, and there's probably a lot like better like wing places to try out that I have no idea about. Like, hopefully I will. Like, I don't know if there's any good wing spots where you're at, Shane, other than Wingstop, or I don't know if you're a big chicken wing guy, but that's definitely my favorite food of all time is chicken wings. With that said, I'll let you answer this would you rather question. Would you rather have and this is like going on the topic of food, right? So, would you rather have a personal chef who cooks you 3 perfect meals a day, or would you rather have a personal mechanic that can fix any issue on your cars and everything like that can basically do whatever to your car at any given time?
Ooh, that's a good one. Real quick, Rose says to Jamar saying, "Man, you trade for another dude named Joe, but this is great value, brand Joe." Yo, retirement home Joe. Yo, that's kind of true. I mean, Flacco's old. Oh man, you know what though? So Trey, my favorite food, like I mean, I shouldn't say my favorite food because I love food, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man. But I love chicken wings, Trey. I love chicken wings. Like I'll smash Wingstop, I'll smash Pizza Hut, I'll smash any wings that I can get, bro. I love wings. I'm not gonna lie, I love them. Like I love the barbecue ones, I love the smoky ones, I love the garlic parmesan, I love the dry rub ones. Trust me, like I'll smash some wings, Trey. So to answer, would you rather? So Trey Jr. said personal mechanic because I can cook good food. That is money. What is your favorite thing to cook, Trey Jr.? I would, dude. That's hard because at first I was like, right, I want to do the personal chef, right? Because like, damn, you just think about the top food. They make everything, they give it to you. But I would probably go with mechanic because it'd save you tons of money, bro. It would save you a lot of money. So I will go with the personal mechanic like Trey Jr. did.
All right, yeah, no, it's definitely interesting because I actually asked AI to give me a would a would you rather question. And so the original question that I modified, I changed it, but the question that AI posed to me was would you rather have a personal chef or like someone that can like massage you like better? And I just didn't add that question because my mind instantly went into the gutter when I heard that one. I was like, do I get a happy ending every single time? You know what I mean?
Yo, I mean that is wild. Hey, I got one more would you rather, guys, and this one's a little tough. So my final would you rather, you guys, is would you rather have super slow internet where you can barely do anything on it, or a low phone battery?
Um, so like no matter what, my phone's just on low battery like the whole time.
Yeah, so whole time you have low phone battery, or you have slow internet, super slow internet.
I mean, the low phone battery would definitely be annoying, like, but I think I'd rather adjust to having like always like a low phone battery than like having slow internet. I think slow internet would be more like annoying to me.
You know, for me, like Rose said, we're looking at the same article of questions. Omega. Trey Jr. said, "Ooh, a personal massager would be nice for real." Trey Jr. says phone battery low. You know, honestly, I that's a hard one for me because like, so when that whole thing happened with TikTok, right? When it got like banned or whatever for the quick time, I like TikTok a lot at that point. Well, when it got banned and I couldn't use it, like my brain was just like whatever, and I've never gone fully back to it because um I just like didn't need it. So I think personally for me, I probably would have take the slow internet and then just move on with my life in that sense because like I need a full phone just in case anything happens with like my children or my parents or my brother or anything like that. So I probably go with that. Rose, that's wild. Me and you are on the same one. So Rose got has one tray for us, and then if you have another one, cool. If not, cool. She said, "I'll throw one out. Do you want to know what you're doing every day for the next 10 years, or never knowing what the day will be like?" Hold on, hold on. Actually, I don't know if I read that right. Let's see. I'm gonna redo it because it blocked me. Rose said, "Would you want to know what you're doing every day, the next day for 10 years, or never knowing what the day will be like the next day?" I honestly would like to know what would happen every every day, every next day for the next 10 years, Rose, because I like to know things. So that's my answer on that one. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said, and it's like I'm a creature of habit. Like I like to prepare today to I like or what the how does that saying goes? I like to prepare tomorrow today. Like I don't like to be late places. I don't like to be unprepared whenever I have to do things. Like that's just kind of how I am. So I like stability, but every now and then, even with stability, like there's still sometimes you want to do something wild. Like you kind of, whether that's like you take a road trip or you try to do something different where it kind of adds a little bit of like spice in that kind of life that's boring, but to make it a habit to where it's like you literally have no idea what's gonna happen day to day. I can't see myself living like that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a it's a tough one. Like Trey Jr. said, he's struggling to pick one, but like I'd have to know. I'd rather know. I like just to be brutally honest. I would just rather know, man. Rose said that she thinks she'd rather not know. Like, she said, like, how do we know if we're gonna get a ticket? How do we know if someone's gonna die? Like, what do we know? Plus, I don't want to get stuck in the same rut of knowing the same thing every day. I mean, but from the question is like, can't you do new stuff? Like, it's just about knowing what you're gonna do the next day for the next 10 years. Couldn't it be like, oh, like maybe I'm misreading that. Isn't it like just like you just know what's gonna happen tomorrow? Like I know what's gonna happen tomorrow, and that's just what's gonna happen. I'm cool with that. I'd much rather know that than not know. And yeah, like if tomorrow it says, oh, tomorrow this person's gonna die, yeah, that'd be terrible. That would be where I'd have like anxiety sweats, right? But other than that, I think I'd be cool with knowing what we're gonna do. I'm not a very good person in the sense of like being sprung on something, like somebody like springs something on me and like, you know, like especially now, maybe back in the day when I was a teenager and I felt like I had more freedom and just in the sense and stuff like that. It's just for me it's very hard like now it's like, dude, I want to know what my plan is. Like, I got stuff I have to plan out. I have stuff I have to figure out. Like, sure, when I was 17 to 21, yeah, it was cool. Like, hey, you want to go on a road trip? Hey, you want to do this? Yeah, so that would be fun. Rose said, yeah, very open ended question. Maybe not so cut and dry or very specific, like you say. Just, oh, you can do this and this and this. Yeah, like, I mean, you could probably spin it to however you want it. Uh, do you have any more would you rather trays or are you done on yours?
Nah, I'm pretty content right now. Like I got my would you rather segments. But I was just gonna kind of go through the whole like closing statement that I always do on the end of podcast. But I'll probably just like ask you or like the chat if there's anything else before I kind of wrap it up, so to speak.
No, I mean, I was only going to ask one more question, you guys. For Thanksgiving, what is the first thing that you just want to smash? And we're keeping it G-rated, folks. We're keeping it G-rated. For me, it is gravy on top of turkey. That is what I'm looking forward to. That's the first thing I want to smash on Thanksgiving. What about you, Trey? What about you, Trey? What about you, Rose?
Yeah, I have this whole thing. I think gravy's like the most overrated food of all time. Like I like mashed potatoes, but like gravy, I don't understand. I don't understand what the fascination. I'm not saying that gravy is bad, but it's like I don't really see the hype about it. It's like the most overrated like food that I've ever had. But with that being said, I'd probably go with turkey. I think the most like cliche answer would be mac and cheese. Everyone likes mac and cheese. Like, Shane and I were talking. He doesn't like cheesecake, and I think that's honestly like that's like a sin to not like cheesecake, and you call yourself an American. But that's a whole other topic. But yeah, for me, I would probably say mac and cheese or turkey. I do like turkey too, so turkey.
Now, see, that's wild. So, like, okay, so Trey Jr. said we need story time. Rose said 4 million coins on Mutt. She's a bot. Definitely a bot. Trey Jr. said ham would be the first thing. Gumbo, potato salad, dirty rice. I mean, gravy, like, is not the top thing that, like, I do, but, like, for Thanksgiving, man, gravy on top of turkey. And we're talking about overrated. The most overrated stuff is cheesecake and pumpkin pie. That is disgusting. Pumpkin pie, if you have it, tastes like baby food for one. And then cheesecake is nasty as hell. Trey Jr. says he misses Louisiana's Thanksgiving. Never had it, partner, but it sounds pretty good. But Trey Sr., yeah, cheesecake bro and pumpkin pie are the most overrated dishes of all time.
Yeah, no, like pumpkin pie, I agree with you on. I was never like a big pumpkin pie guy. I mean, I'll eat it, but like I do agree with you on I do agree with you on pumpkin pie, but I think cheesecake is like insane to me. Like I love cheesecake. That's like my favorite dessert. So like chicken wings are number one, and then cheesecake is like my favorite dessert of all time. What would be your favorite dessert, Shane? I take you as like hmm. I would say your favorite dessert would probably be mint ice cream.
So we're talking about favorite all-time ice cream, right? Or
Well,
I mean,
it doesn't
or
have to be ice. It doesn't have to be like ice cream. It can just be like dessert in general. So if you want to pick like a pie or like something like that or like cookies, it can be anything along those lines.
okay, got you. Rose said, "Damn," he said, "Smash and G-rated." So my wife's off the menu. Sad air horn. Ham and or green bean casserole. Green bean casserole's money. Ham's pretty damn good too. Louisiana Thanksgiving. Trey Jr. says fire. I can imagine, bro. Pie is nasty. Trey Jr. said, "Yeah, I'm not a super big pie fan. I mean, I'm not a huge dessert guy. Definitely would rock ice cream is probably one of them. Trey, like I think I said this before, but Love Potion you can get it at Baskin Robbins off and on. That's my favorite. Mint ice cream is pretty damn good too. I love strawberry. Um, and I'll have a good cookie, bro, like a peanut butter cookie or a chocolate chip cookie or something like that or a Rice Krispie treat. I love those. Rose said her favorite of all time is cinnamon roll. She's a fatty. Nah, cinnamon rolls are money too, but like I just like for me, I don't have that sweet tooth. Like I just don't have a sweet tooth like that, Trey. She said Long John's full on food, baby, with that. Yeah, I'm just not like you guys are just not a huge sweet tooth person. Like it sounds good, and like maybe once in a while I'll smash some ice cream or smash like 3 or 4 chocolate chip cookies, but then I just get grossed out. Where like my wife, she has the sugar tooth like real bad, and like so she'll smash a whole bag of mini marshmallows if you let her. She'll have candy for breakfast. I mean, so like yeah, her and I are like yin and yang on that. Trader says I can't choose. I like a lot. It is really true. Like I think like for my wife, she's not a big food eater, right? And for me, I'm a huge food eater, and so it is interesting conversations for like when like to see where I'm just like, damn, I want to smash all that food. I can't wait for that food to come, and she's just like, yeah, it's what it is. Roasted Subway cookies are actually drugs, so yeah, easy Subway cookies and Cool Ranch Doritos. Let me unbutton my shirt. Yeah, no, for real, Cool Ranch Doritos are money, you guys. I love Cool Ranch. Like, see, right now we're talking about food, and I'm ready for bed, but at the same time, I want to go eat. Now I want to smash a bunch of food, just get fat after eating it, and then go to bed. Like, I mean, honestly, I love food. I think that's the worst thing about getting older is like metabolism slows down. You have to work extra hard to try to stay in shape. Cause you guys, like I love food, man. Like I would be happier than a daisy in springtime. Yeah, I said that term. I'd be happier than a daisy in springtime if I could go and travel the country, the world for the top foods. I've had gumbo, Trey Jr. I've had gumbo. It's pretty damn good. I'm not a huge spicy person though, man. But I've had gumbo and it's pretty good, man. I've actually made it in the past. Probably not as like spicy as you would make it, but I've had gumbo. But no, you guys, like, dude, I can you imagine just like I actually a couple years ago I applied for a food taster job. It was in the South, and it was something like 60 or 80K to live there for 6 months, I believe, and taste test barbecue from St. Louis, Missouri was one area, and then something else. And I applied. I was like, dude, that'd be like my dream job, but I didn't get picked because I'm not a food taster. But it was worth trying out for a job application. Trey Jr. says you guys need to try gumbo if you haven't. That's true. I've never tried yours. Rose said green bean casserole, ham, mashed taters, glazed rolls, 15 pounds the next day. Nah, that's all food. Yo, I'm gonna be honest. Like Thanksgiving, I'm probably gaining like 3 or 4 pounds. Like I try to watch what I eat for the most part. I definitely walk a lot, but like, yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna smash Thanksgiving, Trey. I don't know about you, bro, but I'm gonna put in work like it's my job.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Thanksgiving is all about that, eating some good food, being surrounded by family and the stuff like that. And if like we were talking about overrated food, but like overrated desserts is definitely popsicles. You got any popsicles? I got a whole. I can't do the voice. I have a whole bunch of popsicles in my cellar or whatever. But but yeah, popsicles are like disgusting. Although, like, Shane, have you ever had Otter Pops back in the day, or no? Shit.
I know where you're getting at. Like popsicles, like for me, aren't like they're just whatever. Oh, and then like when they like sometimes like when they squeak against my teeth. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like you pull it out and like it's like got ice on it a little bit, and you go to bite it, and it just like makes my teeth feel weird. Um, Rose said she ate 15 dinner rolls in a 3-hour sitting. That is wild, Rose. I'll give you props on that. But not Otter Pops. I buy it for the kids off and on, man. I'll definitely smash it. You know how the vibes, Trey, because like 100 degrees in our summers, you're a little hotter, and it's you go out and play, and then just or go out and hang out with your family and come back in and have some. Those are bomb back then, like when that time. But other than that, I don't do it outside the summer, Trey.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was always the kind of person that I would just let it melt and then I would just like drink the juice like that. That was kind of the person that I am. I don't know if that's like whatever, but that's kind of what I did. But other than that, like it seems like we're kind of wrapping it up. Maybe Shane or like the chat has something to say, but like the rest of this podcast, unless we sign out, is gonna be like whatever, just engaging with the chat. Which shout out to Rose, shout out to Trey Jr. I don't know if we have any others that are lurking. We appreciate you guys. Anyone else that watches this on the replay, we appreciate you guys. We'll be back. It'll be December, I think, the next time. Well, yeah, it will be December, obviously, but we hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Eat some good food, be with your family, all that kind of stuff, and we'll see you not next Friday, but the week after for the December edition of the West Coast Podcast. And I'll throw it back over to Shane to close this out for the evening.
Yo, I appreciate it, Trey. No, I'm just laughing because Rose said that she knew the reference you're getting at. She did it. So,
Yeah, it's Herbert the pervert from Family Guy. Yeah.
yep, creepy Herbert. Um, you like some popsicles? The anyways, no, hey man, the we have like we have Trey Jr. and Rose and a few others in here. A few others are lurking, but Nah, man, appreciate you guys. Like that was fun. We will be back December 5th at 10:30 p.m. on Friday. So the only thing that might be different, Trey, is I don't know when. I don't know. We'll figure it out, man, for New Year's Eve. I don't think we land on it. But you guys, I will be back tomorrow early morning for the single limbs. I'm playing at like the sixth best guy in the world for MCS. We're not talking about head to head pro rank. We're talking about professional competitive players. I am facing the sixth guy tomorrow with some crappy internet. So I will try to boot it up. Um, especially for Omega. I'll try to boot it up for the paid subscribers and see how it works tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a good modem for the day, and if so, I'll also stream like the gauntlet later on in the day. But anyways, you guys, I appreciate you guys. We will we will see you on December 5th for the podcast, and once I get that new modem, I will be streaming like I have been consistently. So we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Have a good Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe and enjoy the holidays.